Reef DVM's coming at you from kind of a different angle, an angle you don't always see from us, the draft horse side. As many of you know, we have Percheron draft horses on our farm, and we just love them. But there's a particular show that we enjoy going to. It's not too far from us, about 4 or 5 hours, by car ride, and it's the Britt Iowa Draft Horse Show. It's a unique show, folks, because it's the only draft horse show that I know of that you really get to meet the teams, the drivers, all the back scenes people who put together all the work of, braiding and cleaning and, working with the tack and the harnesses and even the carts and the carriages and getting it all together. Most shows, like when you go to the Minnesota State Fair, when they start getting ready, the aisles are blocked off. You can't go in and, say hi and touch the horses and, ask questions. It's done for safety, and I get that, and there's mass volumes of people, but that's not the case when you go to Britt. It's a very unique show. It's a very large show as far as what they show you for draft, particularly in the driving end of the world, but it's kind of quaint, small, personable, and family style for the rest of it. I took a lot of footage. I really enjoyed the show as always. We had absolutely beautiful weather, but I kind of wanted to show you the entrance of each event. So the first section there you saw was, the single woman's cart. Now you're seeing the men's single cart, and this is kind of how it went from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon till about 5. They had a show both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's a really, 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 really neat show. Each of the times that they put on the show, they've got the grounds open from about, I would say 7, 8 o'clock in the morning until, 6 o'clock after the show. So you can come out and see the teams and see the setup and see what it takes, walk the aisles, talk to people, see their gear and their tack, and then sit down and watch a show from 2 to 5 o'clock. And it's really fantastic because how personal it is, and how easy it is to get information and understand how the whole setup and showing goes. Here you're watching the 2-horse wagon driving, which is kind of a neat one for us because this is particularly where we're at. It's just a neat thing to see. The event itself is typically held in Labor Day weekend in Iowa, and I'd highly recommend you come out. I think the cost for adults is like $10 each for a day, and I think kids are like $1. So a family of 6 gets in for $24 or something like that. A family of 6 or 7, probably 25, 26. It's really not that expensive. Of course, if you have teenagers, sure, it's going to be more, but it's a fun event. You're very close to the horses. There's a lot of access, which is great. There's food. There's hot dogs. They got a local church who's serving, barbecue and ribs and steak, and there's snow cones and ice cream and stuff like that you can buy. So it's a pretty nice venue. As far as the atmosphere of the whole thing, it's kind of like a county fair type style, and I guess I appreciate that. I really do, and I think that's what makes it great. What you're watching here now is the Unicorn Series. Again, 2 wheel horses and 1 kind of driving horse at the front. Obviously, this was done way back in the ages when, if you had a 4-horse team and you lost a horse, you moved it into a unicorn position so you could keep doing your work. Or potentially if you had a 2-horse team and you had just a little heavier load and you just needed a little bit more power, you'd throw that unicorn in there to make it work. I thought in watching this that the Unicorn Series was one of the tougher series of driving. I think it was a little bit more challenging for the drivers to drive, especially when they started reversing them and doing more of a figure 8. That drive horse has, all the ability to make the direction, but being they're not quite paired up like they are in a typical 4-horse team, it takes a little bit more skill to kind of take those wheel horses and make them, if you want to call it, swing for that front drive horse. So I thought this was kind of a neat event, seeing both Heat A and Heat B of the Unicorn Series. So for me, this was particularly fun to watch, even though for our discipline on our farm, we're more back at that 2-horse cart kind of thing. As far as the seating goes, we brought our own chairs and kind of tailgated right off the side of the rail. A lot of people sit in the bleachers. If you do, you're there for several hours. Make sure you bring like a bleacher chair. As you can see here, this is the beginning of the 4-horse event. The 4-horse event is, I don't know, just a powerful event. It kind of winds down the main part of the day. It's not their grand finale. The end of the show, they do the classic 6, but the 4 is really a neat hitch to see out there running around. I think the Percherons did very well in the show this year. I don't remember the results from Friday, but I think in the 2-horse and the 4-horse teams, Percherons did very well, placing at the top. I think the Unicorn, if I'm not mistaken, might have been won by some Shires. And this year, I think the Big 6 was well-deserved to be won by a Percheron team. So for lovers like us of the Percheron horses, this particular show on this particular day proved kind of fun because our breed did very well. There were some great showings, though, at the event. I think there was 7 or 8 states represented, and judge being from Canada, that was pretty cool. And you get to meet these people. Also, breed-wise, they had a drill team of smaller horses come out and show us their skills during this. There were Shires there. There were Clydesdales. There were Percherons. There was a ton of Belgians, as you can see. So, breed-wise, the major draft horse breeds were there. Sure, there weren't any, halflingers or, kind of those more crossed draft breeds or, American creams, stuff like that. You're really not going to see them at a show like this. This is more of a, private invite kind of draft horse show. So these teams that are here have basically been invited to come. And I think in the ladies individual, I think there were 9 entries. Also in the men's, I think in the Unicorn there was 8 or 9 entries. And then in the 4 and the Classic 6, I think there was like close to 18 entries in both of those. And I think in the 2, I think there was like maybe 10 entries. It was neat. There was a ton of horsepower. The wagons were just in excellent shape. The drivers were really working hard, even in the heat. The horses did well, and the event is well organized. It flows very smoothly. There's not a lot of pauses and gaps. The events just keep coming out and doing their judging and their driving and their backing up. And I think it was very well done for Britt. And as far as this goes, as far as large draft horse shows, I don't know if Britt's the largest, but it's certainly the largest I've seen. And from what I've gathered from other people, it's one of the largest around. To me, it's certainly larger than our Minnesota State Fair, and I loved it. I just fantastic to see and watch and be at. I really enjoyed it. It's a neat event to come out to. Again, I'd highly recommend it. I'll kind of sit back here and let you guys enjoy the show as the big draft horses come around and continue to show themselves. This is the Classic 6, which finishes out the night. I think there were 4 heats, so I think it was 4 horses, 4 horses, 5, and 5 sets of horses. So again, each heat is, oh, I don't know, probably, 15 minutes long. And it was just a fantastic event to watch. We did have our whole family at the event. Again, like I said, we tailgated, brought chairs and umbrellas and, water bottles and coolers, and we really enjoyed it. It was a fun time. Had all the kids there with us, so from 1.5 all the way up to 11. Just something majestic about seeing these guys come by. These happen to be I believe it was the High Point Clydesdales. What a flashy breed. Gotta love it. And this one coming around right here is a set of Percherons that today was showing very well. The driver did an excellent job. Shining Stars ended up being the 6-horse classic #1 winner today. That was a neat hitch to watch throughout the event today. A lot of people see these draft horses, in a parade, maybe in a set of 2, maybe a 4. In certain parts of the country, maybe a 6. And there might be 1 set of these horses in the parade, maybe 2. It's really neat to come out and see over 100 of them in an arena like this, competing in just one event. It's really quite a thrill. I think this arena is probably big enough to hold 22 to 24 6-horse teams, and it's pretty fantastic. This is another neat team coming by right here. This team did very well in the 2 and the 4-horse hitch. Just beautiful Percherons. Just beautiful. If you love to see majestic, big, 16 to 18 some hand horses, this is the kind of event that's warm and personable to come out to. This is the end of the 6-horse classic here. And when I talk about bringing a lot of horses into an arena and doing an event, this is really cool. These drivers know how to do this. They know their teams. They know their horses. They're bringing around here, I think, 18 teams. Actually, I think it was 17 teams of 6 horses each. And they're parking them, lining them up, and keeping them steady until the ranking is called. So 102 draft horses are in the arena when this event is completed. That is just fantastic to see. It's fantastic to feel as the earth just pounds as they run through. It's just fantastic. It's just a neat thing to see, folks. I highly recommend, if you get the chance and you want to see a very family-friendly, up-close and personal show. That's a little on the smaller side as far as crowd goes, but larger side as far as draft horses go. Come on out to Britt, Iowa and see this show. It's fantastic. This made for a very fun Labor Day weekend, folks. I hope everybody enjoyed watching the video here. It's just impressive to see 102 horses out there working it like these guys are. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Please like and subscribe, and we'll keep putting out great videos like this. Thank you, folks.